How's it? Welcome back to the channel. So today I figured I would do one of the About Lucid Explorers videos, which is really just an excuse for me to talk about stuff on the channel that I don't typically cover, right? So not like sleep, dream, or meditation related. And this one is really on like one of my biggest hobbies. I mean, definitely the most time-consuming hobby of mine, as you will soon see here, which is video games. So every year PlayStation releases like their yearly wrap up where they talk about how many hours you played, what your most played games were, and things like that. So I figured I would cover that today. So I guess for the big one first, how many hours? So we played a lot of video games this year. We had 1,401 hours logged, and it is we because I do share my console with my two kids, so they help pump that number up a bit. But you know, every time I see like the total hours played, it always trips me out because you know that's kind of a lot. It averages out to like 3.8 plus hours a day every single day, and it doesn't seem like we play it that much, but nonetheless, I guess we do. And that is a pretty high number. Like I'm not sure that might be like the second highest number we ever had, but like back in 2020, we had a totally insane number. It was like 1,700 something. It was like, 4.5 hours plus a day, every single day. Still don't know how we hit that, even with the whole pandemic thing. That still always kind of blows my mind. But nonetheless, 1,400 hours. How many games did we play? We played 159, which I think is a little bit higher than normal, but I'm always like well over the 100, well over 100. And it's really like, so I've been subscribed to PlayStation Plus like since it came out. So every month we get like, three, maybe four free games a month. But recently they released like the PlayStation like Extra, I think it's called. So like different tiers. So instead of like the three free games you also get access to this catalog where it's kind of like, it's pretty much like Xbox Game Pass, but Game Pass really is better because for Xbox, they give you all like their first party releases, like day and date, where PlayStation, they kind of just give you like a random assortment. Most of the games suck, but every once in a while you see some cool games in there. So I always go through that every month. And then, if any games I want to play, I'll download them and check them out. But, a lot of them I only play for like whatever, 10, 20 minutes, decide, oh, this game sucks. I'd rather play Call of Duty or something like that, and then chuck it to the side. What else we got in here? So we have our top 5 games. So number one, not surprisingly, is Call of Duty. That's basically all me. As you can see, a lot of these other games we'll see on here are definitely not just me. Going to be a lot of my kids pumping hours into that. But number one was Call of Duty. Spent 366 hours playing that. And the kind of funny thing there is, I used to hate Call of Duty, right? I really liked it like when Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare came out back in like 2007. Loved that game. That's one of the best games ever made, of course. Played a shitload of it. Then the following year, I think it was when World at War came out, played some of that, but it didn't really keep me around too long. I don't really like like World War II. I'd rather not be using like old guns. I want to be using like either modern day shit or like slightly in the future. So I enjoyed that game some. Of course, because I always gotta buy all the video games and shit that come out. I would continue to like to get the new Call of Duties as they were coming out the years after that, but I was like, I'm never really playing them much and wasn't really enjoying it. And then once Battlefield Bad Company 2 came out, super loved that game, got super deep into it. And then when Battlefield 3 came out, which is, probably my top 3 games ever, Battlefield 3, super loved that game, got super deep into it. And then that was back when like Battlefield and Call of Duty were always beefing with each other, right? And so I used to run this page on a blog, oneup.com. I don't think it's around anymore, but I used to run a Battlefield page on there. And so one of the things we used to always say about Call of Duty players is always tell them like PTFO, play the fucking objective, right? Because every time Call of Duty guys would join in on a Battlefield game, they'd be so concerned with like their KD or kill death ratio that they wouldn't be playing the objective, capturing flags, dropping med packs, resupplying your team and stuff like that. So it was like a kind of insult towards Call of Duty players. And, I was so deep into it that I actually like changed my license plate, got a personalized license plate to say PTFO, which kind of had a double meaning there. I really did it for the whole Call of Duty versus Battlefield thing, but then it also stood for pass the fuck out, like, from partying too much, I thought was kind of neat. So I had that as my license plate. A kind of funny side story to that though is like the first time my dad saw it, he's like, hey, like, what does PTFO even mean? So I asked him like, oh, and like, what do you think it means? And he said, oh, part-time father of, and this was like right after we had our first kid. And I was like, Damn, no, that's not at all what it means, man. I love this dad life thing. It's not part-time father of, but nonetheless, so that's that. And then I guess kind of side note to that is so when last year when Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 came out, that was my first Call of Duty back since like 2008, and you know the funny part there is it was like the worst Call of Duty ever, but because I was so determined not to be terrible at the game, I kept plugging in hours trying to get at least decent at it. And then luckily when, Modern Warfare 3 recently came out, they fixed a whole bunch of things. Now the red dots are back. The red dots are back on the mini map. They fixed the movement and all this stuff, but it's Call of Duty 3 is actually like the worst selling Call of Duty in like forever, which kind of sucks, but nonetheless, still enough people to play with online every single day. So anyway, played a whole bunch of Call of Duty. Number two was Minecraft. Minecraft, which I didn't care about until I had kids, but Minecraft is a pretty dope game. I mean, this is mostly my kids, but nonetheless, I like to hop into Minecraft and mess around too. So 253 hours of Minecraft. Number three was Rogue Legacy 2, which is super, super good game. We played 63 hours on that. And I do actually have that on other systems as well. So like, I'm sure, if you could pull in the data from the other systems, we played even more of Rogue Legacy, but nonetheless played a whole bunch of that. Number four was the Crew Motorfest, which is like a racing game. Love that game. That was a lot of fun. Played 60 hours of that one. And then number five is an old game, Just Cause 4, where Just Cause 4, it's like one of those games, and really Just Cause 3 as well. I actually like Just Cause 3 better. But they're one of those games that you can just continually hop in and just play and mess around with the physics and do funny, cool shit. So that was number five. I guess that's kind of it. I mean, they also did something neat this year, which they don't normally do, where they broke it down month by month. But guess we could go over that. So January last year, most played game was Call of Duty at 68 hours. We logged 147 hours of total game time in January last year. February, number one game was Call of Duty again at 77 hours. Logged 146 hours of total game time in February. March, Call of Duty again, 40 hours. We logged 104 hours of total game time. April, things finally changed a bit. Minecraft Dungeons, very fun game too. I didn't expect that, but Minecraft Dungeons was the number one game in April. Played 35 hours, logged a total of 101 hours of gaming. May, Minecraft Dungeons again, 19 hours of that game, 96 hours total. June, Street Fighter 6. I really tried to get good at this game, but man, I'm just not that good at Street Fighter 6. But logged 41 hours of that game that month and 147 hours total. July, Just Cause 4. We started playing that again. 53 hours total that month, 139 hours total. August, Rogue Legacy 2. 47 hours total that month, 134 hours overall. In September, the Crew Motorfest came out that month. Played 33 hours of that, and we had 133 hours of total gaming in September. October, Marvel Spider-Man 2, super amazing game, but it is story related and it is kind of short, so didn't have this pop up too much, but played 27 hours total of Spider-Man. We logged 105 hours total in October. November, Call of Duty's back again, 84 hours total, 121 hours of overall game time. And then in December, now granted, this was only like partway through December, like the first couple weeks or so of it, 26 hours total of Call of Duty, then 33 hours overall gaming, partway through the month. So I guess that kind of wraps it up. Video games are dope. I definitely play too much. And this is one thing that's happened too in the past year where I started playing a whole lot of video games again, like obviously, right? But one thing it did do is it did negatively affect my dream practice where, for years, basically I was getting like, 7+ hours of sleep a night, pretty much on average, where 7+, because I wouldn't say if I have to get up at 7 in the morning, if I lie in bed at 12, I don't count that because you have to factor in the fall asleep time. So, to really get 7 hours, you got to be going to bed like 7.5 hours before sleep. So I had that really down for many, many years. But then once I started playing so much video games, that took a big hit because my main time to play, is at nighttime after the family goes to sleep and everything like that. So this past year, I was probably averaging like definitely under 7. I try to, now I can wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning, which is nice, where before this, we used to have to drive my kids out to Waianae to go to school every day. So I'd have to get up really early. I mean, earlier, like get up at like 6 a.m. was my normal wake up time. But now that both my kids go to a school that's walking distance from my house, we can get up a lot later. Plus, the older one is, a nice, responsible kid, so he can like help take care of the younger one, make him breakfast and do all that stuff. So I can get up pretty last minute, make sure they got what they need, and then just walk them to school. So now that I can wake up at 7, my new bedtime is like 12 a.m. every night. But then, of course, I would be in the middle of some Call of Duty match and like push it out, try to go to bed at like 12:30 and then, only get 6 hours of sleep. Plus, when you're playing games, particularly like Call of Duty, where it's online, you're trying not to get shot and you're trying to shoot everybody and it's stressful and whatever. It wakes me up a lot. So like, it can make falling asleep be more difficult, of course. But nonetheless, it's a balancing act. I love both those practices. I love my dream practice. I love sleeping, but I also love my video games. So you gotta find that nice balancing point. But anyway, yeah, that wraps it up. Until the next video, keep your hobbies legit.